If you want to make sure that your website is found on search engines, well, you need to be creating content for your website. And a way to create content for your website is having a blog. Now, a blog are articles that you put out on a regular basis that are relevant and are helpful to your users, because then those users are able to look up those blogs and find those blogs, and then in turn take them to your website, learn about your business, learn about your company, and so on and so forth. Well, in this video, we're going to teach you step by step how you can set up a blog for your website using Webflow. Now, there are three things that we're going to cover today. Number one is setting up the collection or setting up the content that we're going to put out. Secondly, is designing the blog page itself and then connecting that content to what we designed. And then the third part, which is kind of a bonus, is setting up the main page where someone can select all of your blog posts or any blog post and then connecting the data to that. Let's go ahead and get started. So we start by opening up the designer, and then we're going to set up the data by clicking this item right here, which stands for CMS. Now, CMS stands for Content Management System, because that's precisely what we're doing. We are managing the content of the blog post. We're going to go ahead and click this right here, and we'll create a new collection. Now, there are some kind of preset buttons there where when you click it, for example, say blog post, it will automatically generate the fields that are appropriate for that particular collection you're trying to create. We could totally do that. That's a lot easier. But what we're going to do is we're going to actually create each field so that we can learn the fields as we go along. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put the collection name. That the collection name is simple. It is blog. Keep in mind that whatever collection name here, that will be the URL of that kind of category as well. You're totally welcome to change this. These two can be totally different. Now, it's automatically generated really just to make your life easier, but these two could totally be different. And of course, we have our name. We have our slug. You cannot take that away. You can't change that. That is the name of our blog post or the title, and then the slug, which will be the URL for someone to see that. Now let's go ahead and add a new field. We can click this button right here or this button, whichever one. We'll click it, and first what we're going to do is we're going to add a cover image. So we'll go ahead and click image, and we're going to put here a cover image. You're going to need a cover image for your blog post. All right, now we can go ahead and mess around with these settings, set the image size and image width. I'm not going to talk about that in this particular video, though I did create a video about the 8 tips about the Webflow CMS that you may not know. Going into this in further detail, so make sure you check out that video if you want to learn more about that. We'll click Save Field. So we have our cover image, and then we'll have a text field. We're going to call this one the description. It's always useful to have some sort of description in your blog post that can be shown. Is usually underneath the image, or it's going to be kind of on that box when you select the blog, and there's a little bit of a description there. All right. And now you have a choice here. You can make it single line or multiple line. We'll just make it single line. We want to keep the description a little bit shorter, not on the long end. Okay. And it's actually going to be pretty important for SEO, which we'll show you a little bit later on. Now we're going to add a new field. And this will be the main part of the blog, which is the rich text. We're going to call this the post body. Okay. This will be the actual blog post. We're going to go ahead and click Save Field. And then there's some other things that we can add. For example, we can add an author. Now, there's multiple ways you can add an author. We can use a reference, so we can have another collection where we have our different authors. I can do that later on, but these are kind of the basic things that we need. Now, you may notice there's something that we're missing. How about the dates? Well, Webflow actually automatically adds date fields for you, which are the date it was created, the date it was edited, or the date it was published. So you don't actually need to create a separate date field. Now, if you want granular control of the date field, then you can go ahead and create a date field using this particular field and click date. Now, here are things that you can put. You can put a multi-image. This is for like Lightbox, where you could have multiple images. Good for like real estate showings or e-commerce items. You could have a video link. Let's say each particular blog post has a video. You can show that there, or a link, an email, a phone number, a number. That number can be good for sorting your collection list. If you want some custom sorting, switch for like, if you want to feature it or not, or if you want a color option or file. But we're going to make it really, really simple just by doing this. We're going to go ahead and create a collection. Now, I'm going to add another collection actually, which will be the authors, because that one's pretty important. Now, if you're just one person and you're the same author every time, that's totally fine. But having some author information there kind of adds some legitimacy to the blog post, which I think is crucial. So we're going to go ahead and put an author right here, and then name, slug. We could add some other things here, for example, like a profile picture. We can also add, say, some social media links. What I'll put is just a short description. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and create this collection. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add 5 sample items. These are just going to be just dummy data so that we can see what it would look like. Okay, we'll add 5 authors. So these are 5 authors that it is generating now. And then we have blogs. We're going to add 10 blog posts that we are creating. And there we go. So now that we have our blog post, we are ready to design the blog page. So that was simple. Just like that, we've set up the data for our blog. We're going to go over to the pages section, and we're going to go to these purple pages. Notice how it automatically creates these pages when you create a CMS collection. You see, once you create a collection list, you are now you then have a collection page. And that's why it's purple, because it's dynamic. And here we can go ahead and create the design the page, and then connect the content to the design. We're going to go ahead and go to blog template. So this will be the actual blog post that we will show and how it looks like. Let me add some content here. I do have some elements here using the Relume, our friends over at Relume. We'll put the nav bar right there. Let's add a footer just for good measure. So let's go ahead and search for a footer. Let's use that. Sure. And then we're going to go ahead and add a couple things here. I'm going to first add a section. Put that right in between. And we're going to call this section. And I just want to add a little bit of padding, maybe around 60. We'll use that. And then inside there, we're going to put a container. Now, what I'm doing is I'm using the Find Anything tool to make sure that we're pulling up these items a little bit quicker instead of just selecting them by mouse. You can totally select them by mouse by just going to this plus button and going to Elements and, go ahead and inserting these things. Now, we're going to call this container. I particularly like my containers to be a little bit wider, so I'll put a max width to be 1200. And there you go. All right. Now, in this container, we're going to go ahead and create our blog template page. So this will be the page that people will see when they want to read the actual content of your blog. What we're going to do is we're going to start with an image. All right. Let's start with an image. Now, one thing to make it easier, if you want to make it easier, you can actually go over here, go to layouts. Even with Starter Library, you can do that, or with Relume Library. So let's say we want to look for a header section like this one right here. You can totally do that, all right? That will just make your life a lot easier. There we go. We have our header for our blog post. Now, if you don't want to do that, we can just go ahead and delete that and start over. So what we'll do, I'll first add a div block. And this div block, we'll put a class of flex. Let's just make it simple. We'll do blog header, okay? We're going to set this to flex. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to make it aligned top. Top is what we want. And then justify to the left with a gap. Actually, we want it to be justified space between. And the gap won't really matter. We can put a gap just in case. So let's say 36. Okay. Now, let's first off start with a heading. So let's do an H1. There's our H1. Then we're going to start with a paragraph right here. Well, actually, we need to go ahead and put a div block first. So let's go ahead and put that there. I'm just going to call this a simple name, just wrapper. Inside there, we're going to put our heading. Inside here, we're going to put a paragraph. And then inside there, I'm going to add another wrapper. And we're going to call this one author wrapper. And then in here, we're going to make this a flex with, we'll make this middle aligned to the left with a column of just about 18. That's it, a column of 18. Okay. In here, I'm going to add a little bit of margin. So let's actually change this paragraph to have a margin of about 16 underneath. There we go. Now this author wrapper, I'm going to add an image. And then next to this image, I'm going to add a name. Oh, not a name. We're going to add a heading. We'll make this one an H4 maybe. There you go, H4. And I'm actually going to add another wrapper here. This is really just so we can differentiate between those flex things that we're doing. And then we're going to add a paragraph underneath there. That's going to be the author description. Okay. Now I'm going to design this in a way to make it look a little bit better. So let's add some padding here. We're going to make this maybe around 18. And then I'm going to add a light border. Not an outline. Sorry about that. A light border. There you go. Now, what we can do is we can go ahead and start connecting this to make it a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and start connecting. Click the heading, click the gear settings, and click get text from blogs. And we're going to put here, as you notice, it's now pulling up all the different fields that can be relevant to this particular thing we're doing. So we're going to click name. There's the name of the blog. We're going to click the paragraph and click get the description. There you go. These are just the ones kind of auto-generated by Webflow. We're going to go over here and put the profile picture. So we're going to get image from blogs. And actually, before we do that, I forgot to do something. Go back to the CMS and go to blogs and go to the settings of the blog. And notice I can add a new field. And actually now I can click reference. And we're going to call this author. And notice it will pull out the other collections that we have. We're now connecting the author to this particular field. And I'm going to go ahead and save the field, save the collection. And before I do that, I'm going to just start picking authors for each of these particular items, just because we weren't able to do that a while ago. So let's go ahead and start clicking these authors. All right. Maybe we'll just do 5 of them to make it a little bit quicker. Oh, no, we can do it. We can do it. I hope you'll be patient with me, all right? There you go. We need 5 more. Boom. This one. And we'll put another one. Last 2, all right? Feel free to skip this part if you want. I should have done this a while ago. All right, last one. Okay, here we go. We are now good. Let's go ahead and go back to our blog posts. We're going to click this gear icon, get image from blogs. And notice we're also now pulling up the author profile picture, which is great. That's what we want. Now, that is way too big. So we're going to go ahead and put here, let's put a class of image profile. And let's put a sizing. Let's put a width of, say, 36 pixels maybe. Could work. Oh, that's a way too small. Let's go ahead and do 60. All right. Have a height of 60. Now, we don't want it stretched. That's kind of weird. So we'll go ahead and do the fit as cover. Okay. Still, that's fine. That's okay. And then we're going to go ahead and click this. We're connected to the author name. And then we're going to click this and go to the author description. So that's not the author's name. There we go. All right. And what we're going to do now is we're going to add an image in this blog header. So let's go ahead and put an image. Choose image. And instead of choosing a static image, we're going to get image from blogs and then get the cover image. Way too big. So let's go ahead and put blog cover. Okay. Blog cover, we'll make this a width of, say, 240. It's way too short. Let's say 600 pixels. All right. So now we have our header, and then we're going to add the body. Let's put another section here. I'm going to go back here. We already have our class name of section. And we're going to put a container in there. Container. And then in here, I'm just going to put a rich text element. We're going to grab this text. Notice it pulls it up right away. Grab the text from the post body. And there you go. We have our first blog post. We have our name of the blog post, the title, the description, the author, and also this particular one right here. We could definitely design it a lot better, but this is more just teaching you how you can use the Webflow CMS. Now that we've done that, the next step is to design the main page where we can select the different blog posts and then connect the data to that design. We're going to go over to the home page. Let's say you're setting up just a blog page. You can definitely create a new blog page if you want, but if you want to do just the main page, you can do that. Okay? Now, once we've done that, we'll go ahead and put that nav bar that we had. Let's go ahead and go back to putting the element from here. There we go. And then put that footer element in here as well. I believe we used this one right here. Now, since I already kind of showed the one a while ago, I'm just going to do something really quick just so we can make this process a little bit quicker. I'm going to add a header section, which will be just this right there. We're going to put that right there. Okay. And then, because that's going to be kind of our featured or latest blog post, and then I'm going to add another section. And we're going to start designing this section in between the footer and this kind of featured section, okay? Let's go ahead and work on that. We're going to name this class. We're going to name this section into section. And we're going to add a container, just like how we did a while ago. Add a container. And what we're going to do here, we're going to add another div. We're going to name this one. Actually, no, we don't need to do that right now. What we're going to do is we're going to add a collection list. See that right there? Collection list. If you want to know where to find it, go to the plus icon right here and go to elements, collection list. Notice it's purple, right? Just for you, okay? Before we can design it, we're going to go ahead and connect the source. The source will be the blog post. All right, there you go. Notice right now it's showing all 10 blog posts that we created. What this does, whenever you input a collection list element, there are three things that are created. There's the collection list wrapper, there's a collection list, and then each individual collection item. The collection list wrapper is the box that contains the collection list. The collection list is the list as a whole, and the collection item is each individual item. You can even see it as you're highlighted. Wrapper, list, item. Notice how now it's just this one. The point here is we're going to input one image, and you're actually now designing all of the images, and you're designing it all simultaneously. When you input just one item, all the items are being designed and added as well. And you'll see that when I add an image later, you'll be like, whoa, 10 images right away. That's the point of that, to make your life a lot easier when you make changes or edits. All right, let's start with this particular collection item. What we're going to do is we're going to first off start with the collection list. I'm going to put here blog grid as a class. And what we're going to do is the collection list, we're going to make this into a grid. And this grid will have 3 columns. We're going to put around a gap of 24 on both sides. And here we're going to put our blog post, okay? So let's go ahead and start by inputting stuff in the collection item. We're going to start by putting an image. Notice it puts 10 images right away. What we'll do right now is we'll go and start connecting them, okay? Get the image from the blogs, cover image. Boom. And then we're going to go ahead and put a header. Let's make this an H3 maybe. There you go. Connect it, blog title. And then we're going to put a paragraph. We're going to connect it, blog description. We're also going to put a button. And in this button, first off, let's put the text as learn more. And then we're going to click this and then put this right here, see this collection page? See how it's purple? Once again, we're connecting to that particular collection page. And notice we'll put the current blog. So now when you click this button, it'll take you to that particular blog. Let's put a little bit separation here. So let's go to collection item and let's put a little bit of padding here. So maybe put around 16. And then let's put a border just so we can have a little bit of separation there. Make that into a light gray. There you go. Okay, so there's our collection now. And we can go over here and then we can go ahead and connect these as well. So let's go ahead and connect this particular image. Go to settings. Go right here. Oh, I apologize. I did a mistake. So we're actually going to delete that. And we're going to go ahead. Oh, no, we don't need to delete that. What we're going to do is we're actually going to go to this particular section. And we're going to add a collection list. This is going to be really cool, all right? And we're going to add this collection list in here. And then we're going to go ahead and place all these stuff inside the collection list. Okay? So let's go put that right here. We're going to place this inside the collection list. We have to connect it first, so let's go ahead and connect it to the blog. We're going to put it in the collection item. There we go. All right. Now notice it's showing a lot. We definitely don't want that. We're going to start off now with this collection list. I'm going to do something really cool here. What this is, we're going to make the top part show the most recent blog post. Okay. So we're going to do a filter. We're going to filter out and we're going to do a limit. We'll limit to show only one, starting at 1. And we're going to sort it to the published date, newest to oldest. So now I'm going to go ahead and start connecting these real quick. We don't have a tagline, so we can put here newest blog. And we can go ahead and connect this data. So here you go. In order to connect static elements to the CMS, you have to place it inside a collection list. Put the name right here. We'll put the description, connect that. We don't need this link right here. Let's do this to say read more. And we're going to click this. And same thing, get it to the current blog post, connect to the current blog post, okay? So now, notice we can also filter this or sort this to show published on newest to oldest. Now we have one side problem that we want to fix. Notice how it's showing the newest here and the newest here, but then there's the same blog post being shown. So we can go over here and actually say that we want this blog post to limit the items and show 100, whatever, but we want to start it at 2. So now it won't even show, it won't show this particular latest blog post. And notice here, now we have a blog section where you have your blog post. And here are your blog posts. Let's click this one. And we are now reading that particular blog post. If you stuck around, you are a trooper, and I hope you learned something. This is really more of a beginner tutorial for those who are just starting out in Webflow. Maybe you're in that same position that I was 3 or 4 years ago, and I have no idea what I'm doing. Hopefully this was a help to you. Now, thank you so much for watching. My name is RR Abroad. I'm the founder of Unfinished Studio, and we are a Webflow or web design agency working with companies at the startup and enterprise level, build really creative and just innovative websites. We post a video every Wednesday that will be a help for you. Thank you so much. Let us know if you have any questions or comments below. Have a good week.